Despite Joe's drooling dementia, did our Jazzy ever see anything in Biden that made her wonder whatsoever?
I never saw anything in Joe Biden that made me wonder whatsoever. And it's not that I was with Joe Biden every single day, that's for sure. But I will tell you that I will take a broken, or however they want to describe Joe Biden, over Donald Trump any given day. Because number one, I know Joe Biden's heart.
No offense, dear, but as a doctor, you're even less qualified than Dr. Jill. Joe's heart is the least of his problems. The last time he turned his head and coughed, dust came out of both ends. It gets worse.
Even if you're saying that there was a mentally deficient Joe Biden, I know that he absolutely had a mental acuity that is supreme when it comes to comparing him to Donald Trump, because at least he kept good people around him. Even if we want to say, which I refuse to accept, that Joe Biden was mentally deficient, let me tell you something. His mental deficiency is still 1,000 times better than what we currently have.
First of all, can you trust somebody who left the coat hanger in her jacket? But Biden's mental acuity is supreme, maybe if you mean a burrito supreme, with half the beef and twice the diarrhea. It is touching when you think about it. A black woman with so much respect for a senile old white man. It's like driving Miss Daisy meets visiting angels. But Jasmine wasn't done. She also took a shot at anyone who supported the recent military parade.
You know, thinking that you have your own special little army that's for you. I mean, it is just, it is sick. It is really sick. And anybody that supports it is also sick. Everyone, no matter how you affiliate yourself, should be against Trump, period. I would give anything to have, it's sad to say, George Bush. Give me any regular Republican nowadays, and I would be happy.
Sorry, babe. America had regular Republicans before. Mavericks like John McCain and losers like Mitt Romney. And the Dems insisted they were Hitler, too. Fact is, if Barack Obama switched parties and ran as a Republican, they'd call him a Nazi, too. Because it doesn't matter which Republican is in power, clowns like her would still roll out the same playbook. But the playbook is dead, just like the Democrats. See, the Democratic Party is like that aging swinger at the hotel bar who's dressed from a different era and looks a mess. A few decades ago, he had game, and there were enough gullible people to buy his lines. But over time, people got wind of his grift and learned to stay away from him. And yet there he is, still at the bar using his same old lines. Trump is Hitler. MAGA is fascist. Gutfeld is only a 9. I know. We know. Thank you. So why is it no one buys their BS anymore? Well, they used to have an all-powerful legacy media covering for them. But while the media still backs them, they're about as effective as Rosie O'Donnell promoting Victoria's Secret. CNN has zero credibility. The only thing Brian Stelter's a reliable source for is the locations of all-you-can-eat buffets. Crockett's like a biker who starts bar fights, but the gang she once relied to back her up just showed up on Segways. Meanwhile, as the so-called moderates have fled, the only people left are the obnoxious nutters like Crockett, Waltz, and Booker. It's why the party can't distance itself from extreme positions and why the extremes won't distance itself from them. And nothing pisses off the middle-of-the-road voters like a bunch of protesters blocking the road. It's a perfect reminder that while you're trying to get to work or pick up your kids, these spoiled douchebags are having a blast making everyone else miserable. The result? Voters run away. And so as the party becomes increasingly isolated, filled with cretins too crazy to go anywhere else, it becomes even more radical. It's like an insane asylum where the only patients left are the ones who can't go anywhere else. And the Dem voters are starting to get this. A new poll finds that 62% of Dems agree with the statement, the leadership of the Democratic Party should be replaced with new people. Meaning they want a strong leader who focuses on things like the economy and helping families, which kind of sounds like they want a Trump. No wonder the Dems demonized him. It's the only thing a dead tree can do, throw what little shade they have left. Tom, as a white supremacist, I'm sure you have several strong opinions about Jasmine.
How did it go, Greg? Like, my intros used to be like, oh, he's so white that sunscreen gets jealous. And now my intro is like, he's in the Klan.
Just over time, it just keeps getting worse.
Because we ran out of ones about the sun.
Yes.
I'm just glad that Jasmine is back in the news. I think she's very entertaining. She is, and do you say the J? I like Jasmine.
Like Yasmin Bleeth?
Yeah, but Jasmine, like that's her, like she's like a sitcom character and that's her catchphrase, Jasmine! So that's when she comes in. Like, she is very interesting, but only as, like, Trump is the sitcom. Like, he's the king of Queens, right? Mm-hmm. She's the sassy black neighbor.
Right.
In Trump's sitcom.
Yes.
So he should keep a door in the White House, you know, just for her.
To walk in?
She can walk in.
And then people go, woo!
Yes! They would even love it. Woo! And she'd walk in and say, yes, mine.
And they'd secretly like each other?
Yes.
That's great. That's a great idea. I take back everything I said about your inherent racism. Right. Johnny, congratulations on the new book.
Oh, thank you.
I especially love the dedication. I dedicate this book to the real hero, Greg Gutfeld. He may not have served in the military, but he didn't have to, because he's just awesome. Thank you, Joey.
Yeah, man, of course. I got a whole chapter in there about you, I'm telling you.
Yes. So what do you make of, why is it that they still can't figure out that this isn't going to work? Or why can't they come up with something better?
I don't think she's a they, right? Like she's for her, and she's doing a pretty good job. It's kind of like on the right, when Marjorie Taylor Greene first came on the scene, a lot of Republicans were not happy, but she just kept climbing and climbing, and now she kind of falls in line most of the time because Nancy Mace is acting crazy as hell. So, I mean, you got a little bit of everything, right? So, what does Jasmine Crockett do? She makes AOC look like a presidential candidate. That's what she does. And I'll take up for Jasmine Crockett, because if I sit down with Joe Biden and he beat me 4 times in a row in tic-tac-toe, I'd think he was a genius too.
Yes. Why do you think she's claiming that Joe Biden is still sharp? Does she even believe it?
That's the thing. I think she's claiming Joe Biden's still sharp because she used it to try to take down Trump.
Yeah.
And I do want to give her, I'll give her some advice. I will, because someone needs to tell her this. You can still have your whole thing be that you hate Trump, and you don't have to say that his mental acuity is worse than Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Because honestly, saying that someone has a better mental acuity than Joe Biden is not even like really a compliment. No. I do feel like at this point my dog knows more words.
Yes.
I know that sounds mean, but if I were to say sit, there's only one of them I'm confident would pull that off.
And one of them is definitely house trained.
Yes. Pooping where he's supposed to. Another place I'm having to go with Carl.
Yeah.
But she kept driving it home and saying, I never saw anything that would have made me concerned. And it's like, I did. Anybody watching, I think, did. So yeah, either she doesn't believe it, or at this point, I now have concerns about her mental acuity.
Yes.
How did she come back smarter? Like, what happened there? That's just.
I don't know if that was a compliment.
I don't know if it was either.
That was perfect.
How did she come back smarter?
No,
apparently,
the whole
before you left, you were dumb.
No.
Wow, Joey.
Well,
you know what?
I can't decide if I should go with as a mother or as a cancer survivor.
I've just got to,
I got both of those on one leave.
And then Adam, as a friend of a mom and a cancer survivor.
I mean, you put me on with a cancer survivor and a guy with no legs. I feel.
And a white supremacist.
And a white supremacist.
But really, though, I mean, that's why there's a rub here, because it's like she knows that's the only reason I have this job to begin with. And she's going to get cancer and take the sympathy card right out from under me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, now you're not the only double amputee on the show.
Oh, man.
I did not see that one coming.
Neither did he.
Oh, making jokes about guys getting their legs blown off.
You're a
Only
hero.
on Gutfeld.
Thank you.
Adam, do you have anything to add?
My only thing to add is like when you said sit to the dog, you know but when you say it's going to be Biden. But speaking of dogs, Biden couldn't even train his dog. His dog bit 11 Secret Service agents. And look, I love animals, but you got to put them down and rehome the dog.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.